Now that the high poly and the low poly models are done, it is time to unwrap the UVs of the low poly. Now I only do the low poly because the high poly will not get any textures. We only need the geometric information from it. Now apply the UV unwrap modifier on top of the low poly stack. As you see, open the UV editor, selected everything, went mapping and flatten mapping. Now it's important that you uncheck normalized because you want everything scaled equally. Otherwise you will have some parts blurry, some parts very sharp, and that's not what you want. Now activating selection by element in the command panel on the right, you can then in the 3D window select complete objects and make sure they're separated. I'm going to flatten map all of them separately so that I know that I'm not grabbing anything that doesn't belong to each other. Okay, we'll start with the base. So I'm going to select all these side faces in the UV editor and go to the cylindrical mapping modifier in the command panel. Notice that normalized is also switched off there. Now the bottom is not going to be seen, so give it some very small room. I'm going to select everything else, and that's the top part. Actually there's a horizontal ring there which I need to cylindrical map by itself as well. So we'll just select just that, and again apply the cylindrical modifier. Now what is left is the top face, so I can just do a planar projection, and that's it for the base. This will not stretch. It is important that no faces overlap or mirror, because baking will go horribly wrong if that happens. Okay, the second object, same idea. I'll take the cylindrical parts. First I'll take the top projection parts. Simply apply a top projection modifier. Now the outer ring is separate, so what I'm going to do is select by element in the UV editor and just make it a little bigger so that the colors don't bleed through. The bottom part again is not visible, so we'll give it some little space, and then the cylindrical part. You see there are two rings, and both have different diameters, so I'll have to do them separately. If they had the same diameters, I could select everything and do a cylindrical modifier on both at the same time. That would work fine. Okay, that's the middle part done, and now the top screw. Here it's a little bit trickier because you don't have a perfect cylindrical shape, so take the bottom out, take the top out as well. And the rest we're going to apply a unfold modifier through mapping, unfold mapping, deselect normalize, and this will lay out these faces in a row. Now the important thing is that this unfolding is a bit quirky, so it doesn't always work very well. But the important thing to remember is that it does a placement, and you will see later that it actually messes up something, and we'll have to do it again after we pack the UVs. Okay, in the back, the bottom can be small, and that is it. Now we can pack the UVs. We're not going to rescale because we want the original scaling to be the same. As you can see, those grip handles are disjointed again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reapply the unfold modifier to them again, so that we can just put it. Okay, I'll just place it there. I'm not really paying attention for the UV placements in this example, because well, it's a small asset. The textures will be very small, and I don't really care. I don't want to spend too much time on it. But ideally, you would want to use as much space. So in this case, because there is really nothing else to put in these empty spaces, what can be done is that I can reuse this texture for some other object, another mine or a grenade or something. I also scale some things to make it bigger, like the top, because it will have some text on it, and otherwise it will be just a little blurry. Okay, I can render the UV template now. This will give me sort of a map, if you will, that I can use to navigate in Photoshop. Show me the placement of where the things are. Just do a little rearranging, see what fits better. I will work on 1K textures for the time being, but then they will be scaled down to 512. Okay, I save this as a JPEG. And voila, that takes care of the UV mapping. Now we can